Greetings. So this is a follow-up to what I was talking about in my last video, where I'm working on procedurally generated music for this scene. I stumbled into doing something kind of cool unintentionally, where I get this effect that sounds like robots thinking. In like, I don't know, early like 50s to 70s sci-fi, maybe a little bit of 80s sci-fi, but like just like the beeps and boops of like you gave a computer a command and it's like, computer, do this thing, and it goes uh um I accidentally created the sound effect. I didn't really realize I would stumble onto that. But just to explain what's going on here, this is based on the synthesizer tutorial by Dano Kablamo. You can see that I still have a lot of the like skeleton of his code around here. This array of frequencies, it's essentially dummied out at this point, but this is a leftover from his tutorial. The reason it's dummied out is because this part's dummied out. This is the actual code from that tutorial. We don't even reference the frequencies array anymore. I needed that tutorial just because like I didn't know, like, who knows that on audio filter read is one of the methods in C# in the Unity engine. I didn't know that. So yeah, I looked that up, and I'm basing my code off of this fundamental structure for the synthesizer. And instead of using the frequencies array, I want to be calling just really random frequencies, random pitches. So I've got some dice roll. So I've got a variable called dice roll, and dice roll in the execution here, it does the math for a random number between the minimum and maximum. I also have most of these declared as publics so that I can debug essentially while I'm playing my game. Min being set to 0 by default, max being set to 18,000. And then frequency becomes dice roll. Technically that's redundant, but I like to be able to see what my brain was doing a lot of the time. If I get around to it, I'll optimize that code out so that it doesn't need to have an extra line. But yeah, so it does a dice roll essentially every time it determines that it's supposed to move on to the next note. Elapsed time being how much time has actively passed. Time until next being the target time for how long a note duration should be, which you figure out based on the tempo, what a whole note would constitute in that tempo, what the note denominator would be, so 1/1 being a whole note, you want quarters, 1/4, etc. I think desired note denominator, yeah, I have that initialized to 1, so it should technically be a whole note. And also, I'll dummy this out probably for this here at demonstration, but this coin toss is essentially just supposed to simulate a probability of how regularly I played notes in my demo composition, because I don't want it to just like always be playing notes. So that's what's happening in this code. And we're just gonna like hear what this does. I'm gonna change this to a nicer frequency. Also gonna change, we'll say we want, whoa, 169ths. Now, That's kind of interesting. You can hear that it actually does do the coin toss. You can hear that it's doing its constant changes. It's doing its dice roll for what frequency it wants to play. But let's dummy this out because I don't really care about the coin toss part right now. So we're gonna dummy out the elapsed time and the coin toss and the debug and also this if statement. Because what I really want to show you is how I stumbled onto the like robot processing sound. So if I don't put in all those stop gaps, it just keeps on doing the math. Isn't this so cool? I mean, it's not really that cool, but like, that's pretty wild that you can just stumble upon, like, at a slower rate. I mean, let's dummy some of this back in. Just to like have some actual control over it. Yeah, let's do that. I don't think we actually care about the coin toss still though. Oh, I just want to. Yeah, so now we have a little bit more granular control over this. And we'll set it to we'll set this to 6,000. What the heck? That we get a slightly more manageable. So I have it doing its eighth notes at 120 BPM right now. This is just so cool to me. I accidentally created the robot like beeps and boops. And that's really all that this video is. I was just very excited that I stumbled upon creating a sound effect. I had a very different target, but I didn't realize how closely the target was related to another sound that felt familiar to me. Like I that would like almost be in like Twilight Zone or like Doctor Who or something, you know? Maybe not Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone would probably use more mechanical calculator sounds. I think Star Trek did that a little bit. My memory's not fresh. But yeah, that's really all this video was. I just wanted to show that off. Tune in next time, maybe, for whenever I actually have the procedural generated music working in the way that I intend. It's pretty close right now, but I do want to actually implement like a ADSR, essentially, because as you notice, there's no spaces between the notes, and you might also be able to tell that there's some clipping from it just like abruptly switching. And so I intend to implement some ADSR and also hopefully some polyphony. But until then, farewell.